I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz is calling out MAGA Republicans for their support of a fake whistleblower who has gone missing, but turns out that the fake whistleblower was indicted by the Department of Justice for being an unlawful agent for the government of China, as well as a unlawful arms dealer for Iran and Libya. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of this indictment that was recently unsealed. First, I want to show you what went down during a committee hearing where Jared Moskowitz just lays out the MAGA Republicans. And then I want to share for you the two letters that Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz sent, one to the House Oversight Committee, one to a subcommittee that purports to be investigating the CCP. However, it now seems clear that the MAGA Republicans are supporting an agent of the CCP and that the MAGA Republicans are complicit. It's all projection when it comes to the MAGA Republicans. So first, let me play you this clip of Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz just saying it like it is on the House floor. Play this clip.
News. But they're focused on the audit of the Pentagon. Can you imagine if someone audited this committee? Oh wait, I have that audit of this committee. Actually, it's in form of an indictment. That's the audit of this committee. It's an indictment by the Department of Justice because this committee is focusing on working with foreign agents, right? We want to talk about national security. That's why you guys are here. It's about national security. But the main committee is working with an indicted Chinese agent who does business with the Iranian regime and is an illegal arms dealer to Libya. All of this in order to own Hunter Biden. That's how far they've stooped. It reads like a 007 movie, this indictment, except they're working with the villain. You know, that's why I've sent a letter to the China Select Committee, the chairman of that committee, to open up into an investigation into what's happening in oversight, because I'm deeply worried about whether the CCP has manipulated the information that's been provided this committee through their foreign agent that they're working with and the information that they're then providing to the American people. It's also why I've sent a letter to the chairman of Foreign Affairs and the chairman of Homeland Security, because I need to know, and the American people need to know, they have a right to know, whether the indicted foreign agent, the illegal arms salesman who is working within the Iranian regime, who is a supporter of terrorism around the world, that's who they're working with. We need to know whether they have jeopardized Homeland Security in their search to help Donald Trump in his reelection. I yield back.
Now let's talk about the letters that Congressman Jared Moskowitz wrote. The first, he writes, and this is what he posted on Twitter, he goes, Chairman Comer, who's the MAGA Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Chairman Comer elevated and amplified a fugitive agent for China who has been indicted for illegal arms dealing in exchange for Iranian oil, violating U.S. sanctions. Today, I'm calling for House investigations into Gal Luft and the security breaches resulting from his actions. And just so you see, again, everything we do here is fact-based, is video-based. So when Congressman Jared Moskowitz says that Chairman Comer elevated and amplified a fugitive agent, let's play this first clip where James Comer says that it is a very credible witness. Here, play this clip.
No, he's very credible, and the people on MSNBC who made fun of me when I said we had an informant that was missing, they should feel like fools right now.
They are fools.
And this is their worst nightmare because, again, this is a credible witness that the FBI flew all the way to Brussels to interview and sent several agents to interview.
And here was an earlier clip where James Comer said that the individual's missing because they were a spy. Play this clip.
Hold on a second, Congressman. Did you just say that the whistleblower or the informant is now missing?
Well, we're hopeful that we can find the informant. Now, remember, these informants are kind of in the spy business.
Okay, now getting into the letter sent by Congressman Jared Moskowitz. Here is what he wrote, and he sent this to the House Foreign Affairs Committee, the House Armed Services Committee, And this is what he writes. Dear Chairman Rogers and McCall and Ranking Member Smith and Meeks, on July 10th, 2023, the U.S. Department of Justice announced the unsealing of an 8-count indictment against House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer's, quote, credible witness on the, quote, Biden family corruption. The details included in the indictment about Mr. Gal Luft's ties to China and Iran are deeply concerning and should be reviewed by the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the House Armed Services Committee members. Mr. Luft is an American-Israeli, a former lieutenant colonel in the Israeli Defense Forces, and co-director of the Maryland-based Institute for the Analysis of Global Security. He was accused of working to broker multiple deals to illicitly sell and deliver defense articles between foreign countries without a license or the necessary approval. The indictment details Mr. Luft's efforts on behalf of Chinese companies to sell certain weapons to Libya, including anti-tank launchers, grenade launchers, and mortar rounds, which Mr. Luft and his associates refer to in coded language as, quote, toys. He also worked to broker deals for certain weapons to be sold to Kenya, including unmanned aerial vehicles, and discussed brokering a deal for weapons to Qatar. The sale of these weapons to Iranian allies is a direct violation of the Arms Export Control Act. Additionally, Mr. Luft conspired to attempt to broker deals for Iranian oil, which he directed an associate to refer to as Brazilian oil, in a clear effort to conceal the malign activity and evade sanctions and prosecution. This violates U.S. sanctions against Iran and the International Emergency Powers Act. Since the Iranian hostage crisis of 1979 to 1981, the United States sanctioned thousands of Iranian individuals, enterprises, and assets. As a country, Iran has been designated as a state sponsor of international terrorism since 1984, and since 2011, a jurisdiction of primary money laundering concern. On their own, Mr. Luft's interactions with Iran and on behalf of the People's Republic of China seriously threaten our national interest and those of our allies. However, this individual has been embraced and elevated by the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, which I believe increases the risk to our national security that Mr. Luft presents, as well as the integrity of the committee. As the leaders of the committees of jurisdiction, I ask that you hold a briefing to examine the impact of Mr. Luft's dealings with Iran and China and any security breaches resulting from his actions. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to your reply. Jared Moskowitz, Member of Congress. Here's the next letter. It's also critical that the China Select Committee launch an investigation into the House Oversight Committee and determine whether the CCP has infiltrated the committee's work product. Dear Chairman Gallagher, I write to MAGA Republican. I write to express my appreciation for your committee's necessary work and inform you of my deep concern that Chinese influence has infiltrated the halls of Congress, specifically the House Oversight Committee. Recently, it was revealed that the long-lost, quote, Hunter Biden informant, whom Chairman Comer misplaced, is fugitive Gal Luft, charged with arms trafficking, sanctions violations, and acting as an unregistered foreign agent for China. These explosive revelations certainly call into question the credibility of Mr. Luft, who is accused of attempting to influence U.S. policy in favor of China, operating in direct violation of the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which was codified to prevent such covert influence by foreign principals. Despite this damning 8-count indictment, members of the majority on the Oversight Committee are still trying to obtain Mr. Luft's testimony to validate their conspiracy theories about the Biden family, the lengths to which Chairman Comer and other members are willing to go to sell these theories to the American people and influence the 2024 presidential election, extend into a dangerous realm, one that may jeopardize national security. Enabling a Chinese-backed Iranian arms supplier and making him a centerpiece of oversight investigation calls into question whether the CCP has tainted the Oversight Committee and its work. As per House Resolution 11, quote, the sole authority of the Select Committee shall be to investigate and submit policy recommendations on the status of the Chinese Communist Party's economic, technological, and security progress and its competition with the United States. The Select Committee may at its discretion hold public hearings in connection with any aspect of its investigative functions. Therefore, I request the House Select Committee on China launch an investigation into Gal Luft, his misconduct, and any communications between Mr. Luft and members of the House Oversight Committee. I thank you for your time and consideration of my request, and I stand ready to do anything I can to help. And then it's signed Jared Moskowitz. And so again, a very powerful letter. How in the world are you MAGA Republicans relying on a unlawful Chinese agent, Iranian, Libyan arms dealer, and trying to make him the centerpiece of an investigation to attack a sitting president? But that's who the MAGA Republicans are. This was Kevin McCarthy's response to all of this. Kevin McCarthy says no. He thinks that this makes the fugitive on the run a more credible whistleblower, more credible, Kevin McCarthy says. This is called MAGA Republican nonsense. Play this clip.
What did you say about the informant who was indicted by the Justice Department on the suspected trafficking issue that Comer has promoted as an informant in the Biden investigation? Does that undermine the case at all?
No, it wouldn't undermine the case, because if you extrapolate that even further, the Justice Department went after him. Well, Hunter Biden received more money from the same foreign CEFC company that this informant did, much more. So it would only make the case stronger that the government really did look into Hunter Biden.
And there you have it, folks. Judge for yourself where you think the credibility is here. That's why I wanted to show you Kevin McCarthy's argument. You see Jared Moskowitz's argument. Leave in the comments how you feel about this. Let me know how you feel. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Hit subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.